Hello, welcome everyone to an episode of Power Struggles, the podcast where we pit some of the most powerful characters from across the multiverse against each other in a hypothetical battles to the death. I am your host, the Lionheart, and today we've got a monumental battle between two dimension-hopping, reality-bending titans, Kamen Rider Decade and Doctor Strange. Now, I know what you're thinking. I already posted this video probably a week or 2 weeks ago early, and why is it that I'm making this coverage now? Well, I realized that after I did it the first time, there was certain information missing, some things that were that wasn't told in this fight that should have been said and addressed, and I blame the so-called expert of Kamen Rider, so I had to release him given that he basically kind of like diluted or made this channel a little bit like we weren't reliable, like we're not giving you guys the information that you need. And I don't want to cheat the Kamen Rider fandom, but I also want to educate those who are not familiar with the Kamen Rider fandom, even myself included. So this is why I had to make sure that I went thorough with it. I even had some advice from my co-host, who y'all see sometimes in the Kamen Rider videos, named Garo. So after he went in and bothered me on my DMs, I needed to do this episode again, and this time I made sure to put all the information that there is, so that this time there's nothing left unchecked, and whatever I tell you the results, you must accept the results because that is the inconclusive facts, alright? So, we're going to dive into the intricate details of both of these characters, covering every form, weapon, ability, and feature that they've achieved. Today, we're not leaving any information behind. By the end of this episode, we'll give you a comprehensive breakdown of who would likely win in a head-to-head battle across the multiple simulations. So buckle in, because this is going to be one epic ride. Now let's start with Kamen Rider Decade, also known as Tsukasa Kadoya. He is one of the most unique and powerful riders in the entire Kamen Rider franchise, with the ability to traverse parallel universes and tap into the powers of all other riders. But it's not just his dimensional hopping that makes him formidable, it's the sheer arsenal of abilities, forms, weapons, and at his disposal. Now, we're going to break down everything that Decade brings to the table, and I mean I'm going to cover everything that there is. Trust me, I was like, whoa. Now, in his base form, Kamen Rider Decade already possesses enhanced strength, speed, durability, reflexes beyond that of a normal human. Due to his transformation via the Deca Driver, his base strength alone allows him to defeat lower level enemies with ease, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Decade's real power comes from his rider cards, which allow him to transform into past riders from various Kamen Rider universe. This includes fan favorites like Kamen Rider Kuga, Kamen Rider Blade, Kamen Rider Double, and many more. Each transformation grants him access to the abilities and powers of that specific rider. For example, as Kamen Rider Kuga, Decade gains Kuga's multi-form abilities, which scale from enhanced speed, dragon form, to immense strength and firepower, ultimate form. As Kamen Rider Kabuto, Decade can use hyper acceleration, allowing him to move at speeds approaching the speed of light in hyper clock-up mode. As Kamen Rider Ryuki, Decade can even access mirror dimensions and summon contract monsters. Each rider form significantly boosts Decade's combat capabilities, making him incredibly versatile and unpredictable in battle. Now, in his complete form, Decade's power reaches a whole new level. Complete form allows Decade to summon all of the primary Heisei riders as physical cards to fight alongside him or to channel their powers directly. In his form, Decade has access to the most powerful abilities of each rider simultaneously. For instance, he can combine Kuga's ultimate form strength with Kabuto's hyper clock up, making him nearly untouchable. With the introduction of the 21 Heisei Riders complete form, Decade gains access to even broader range of powers, tapping into the strength of all 21 Heisei Riders. This form grants him the collective abilities of riders like Kamen Rider Build and Kamen Rider Decade, making him more powerful than ever before. The scaling here is immense, and he essentially wields the power of an entire universe's worth of riders. Now, Decade's power gets another upgrade. With the Neo Deca Driver, This device enhances his transformation and grants him access to even more rider powers, particularly those from the Heisei and Rera eras. Hopefully I didn't botch that when I said that. With the Neo Deca Driver, Decade's transformation time becomes instantaneous. He can switch between forms without delay, giving him the ability to adapt to any opponent's attacks or weaknesses in real time. Wow. Decade's signature weapon is the Ride Booker, a versatile device that can switch between a sword, a gun, and a card storage mode. The Ride Booker allows Decade to perform both melee and range attacks, and it is capable with his Rider cards, allowing him to summon additional weapons from other Rider universes. The Den Den Gun is an advanced weapon that comes from Decade's K-Touch device. It can transform into multiple forms, including a powerful energy gun, and can fire powerful blasts that rival Rider finishers in destructive potential. When used in conjunction with Decade's other abilities, it becomes a devastating tool. Decade can travel between dimensions with ease, and he has a full control over how he interacts with them. This includes pulling enemies into alternate universes where he holds a tactical advantage or where he can summon additional allies to aid him. Sorry guys, when I'm in the mode it's like I stutter or I say the wrong mistake. But back to what we're going through. With the Neo Deca Driver, Decade can not only transform into other riders, but also directly access their signature abilities. This means he can instantly analyze an opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and then switch to the rider form best suited for exploiting them. In crossover events, Decade has even been shown to tap into the powers of the Super Sentai universe. While this ability is not used frequently, it expands his versatility, giving him access to abilities like summoning giant robots, Zords, or calling the Sentai team attacks. Decade's ultimate attacks or rider finishers vary depending on his form. These finishers can range from devastating energy blasts to planet-shaking strikes. In complete form, he can summon multiple riders to execute finishers simultaneously, which could obliterate most foes. Now, we're gonna move on to Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme of the Marvel Universe. While Decade is known for his versatility across dimensions, Doctor Strange is the undisputed master of mysticism, wielding incredible magical powers that allow him to manipulate time, space, reality, and even life and death. Strange's mastery over these forces makes him a formidable opponent for even the most powerful beings. Now let's explore the full scope of his abilities. Doctor Strange is the most powerful sorcerer in the Marvel Universe, with the mastery of over a vast range of spells, including energy projection. He can shoot beams of pure magical energy which can slice through solid objects, incapacitate enemies, or be used for defense. Elemental control. Strange can summon and manipulate elements such as fire, water, wind, and earth. Jesus, he basically is the fucking Avatar at this point. Using them both offensively and defensively. Dimensional manipulation and teleportation. Strange can open portals to other dimensions, much like Decade. However, Strange doesn't need special equipment. He can cast spells and warp space and time with just a thought. He can pull enemies into alternate dimensions, trap them in time loops, or banish them into realms from which there is no escape. Now, one of Strange's most fearsome abilities is his power to warp reality. Using artifacts like the Eye of Agamotto, he can alter the fabric of space-time, bending reality to his will. He can turn objects into other materials, manipulate time to reverse or speed up events, and even alter the laws of physics. Strange can leave his physical body and travel in his astral form, which makes him invisible and intangible to most enemies. In this form, he can move freely between dimensions, observe his opponents without being detected, and cast certain spells without being physically present. His astral form also allows him to communicate with beings across the multiverse. Strange is known for his powerful shields and barriers, which can withstand attacks from some of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. His mystical shields can block energy blasts, deflect physical attacks, and absorb damage, making him difficult to harm directly. Thanks to the Eye of Agamotto and the Time Stone, Strange has the ability to manipulate time itself. He can create time loops, rewind time, or speed up to affect battles in real time. This ability gives Strange a massive advantage, as he traps opponents in infinite loops or undo any fatal mistakes. The Eye of Agamotto is one of Strange's most powerful artifacts. It allows him to peer into the deepest truths of the universe, see through illusions, and manipulate time. When wielding the eye, Strange can predict his opponent's moves before they happen, making him nearly impossible to outsmart. Now, Doctor Strange's Cloak of Levitation is a sentient artifact that grants him the ability to fly and hover at will. The cloak also acts as a defensive tool, capable of acting independently to protect Strange or assist him in combat by grappling enemies or blocking attacks. Now, Strange's Book of the Vishanti contains the spell of unimaginable power, focusing on the defensive magic, healing, and protecting enchantments. With it, Strange has access to a near limitless pool of knowledge that can neutralize almost any magical attack. Strange can summon the crimson bands of the Satoric, unbreakable magic restraints that can bind even the most powerful beings. These bands can immobilize enemies, preventing them from attacking or escaping, which is incredibly useful when facing foes who rely on physical power or brute force. Now, Doctor Strange's title of the Sword Supreme is not just for show. He is the protector of Earth from mystical to interdimensional threats, wielding magic powerful enough to combat gods, demons, and cosmic entities. His spells are on a scale capable of reshaping worlds or defending entire realms from destruction. Now, Strange has fought some of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe, including Dormammu, Shuma Gorath, and Thanos. His experience against world-destroying threats gives him a strategic mindset in battle. He's faced down gods, demons, and time itself, and he's come out on top. Now that we fully analyzed both Kamen Rider Decade and Doctor Strange's abilities, let's break down on how this battle will unfold. Remember that this isn't just about brute strength, it's about versatility, strategy, and the ability to adapt. Now, both Decade and Strange are highly versatile combatants. Decade has an advantage in terms of sheer physical forms, as he transforms into any of the previous Kamen Riders and access their powers. With his 21 complete form, he essentially has the abilities of 21 legendary riders at his disposal, giving him a nearly unmatched level of adaptability. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange's magic allows him to adapt to nearly any situation, whether through time manipulation, reality warping, or defensive spells. Decade's power mimicry, especially with the Neo Deca Driver, allows him to quickly shift forms to counter whatever abilities Strange throws at him. But Strange's use of defensive shields combined with the Eye of Agamotto means he can predict and counter Decade's attacks before they happen. The fight would be constant back and forth, with both combatants adapting to each other's strategies in real time. Both Decade and Strange have mastery over dimensional travel and teleportation. Decade can pull enemies into alternate Rider universes, where he could gain access to powerful allies or environmental advantages. Strange, on the other hand, can create pocket dimensions, open portals, and trap enemies in alternate realities like the mirror dimension. While Decade can escape most dimensions due to his Neo Deca Driver's abilities, Strange's ability to warp time within these dimensions could trap Decade in time loops or freeze him in stasis, giving Strange a critical edge. Oh man. Now let's talk about the scaling of their ultimate abilities. Decade's 21 complete form allows him to channel the full power of all the Heisei riders at once, essentially giving him the power of an army of godlike warriors. His rider finishers in this form are planet-shaking, capable of obliterating anything in their path. If Doctor Strange doesn't counter Decade's finishers with precise shielding or reality manipulation, he could be overwhelmed by Decade's sheer force. However, Strange's use of the Time Stone and Crimson Blades of the Satoric would allow him to hold Decade in place, manipulate the battlefield, or reverse time to undo any damage caused by Decade's attacks. Strange's ability to control time and reality on a cosmic scale puts him in a league where he can challenge even beings as powerful as Decade. Now, after running multiple simulations of this battle, we've come to the following conclusion. In 60% of the simulations, Doctor Strange comes out on top. His mastery of magic, combined with time manipulation and reality warping abilities, allows him to outsmart and outlast Decade in most scenarios. In the remaining 40%, Kamen Rider Decade emerges victorious. His ability to adapt, his sheer combat power in complete form, and his use of multiple rider abilities gives him a strong chance to overwhelm Doctor Strange, especially if Doctor Strange doesn't immediately recognize Decade's most powerful transformation. The margin is close, but Strange's ability to manipulate time, trap enemies in alternate dimensions, and warp reality gives him the edge. However, Decade's unpredictability and sheer firepower make this a fight where the outcome could change depending on specific circumstances. So there you have it. After thorough analysis and simulations, Doctor Strange wins 60% of the time, with Kamen Rider Decade taking 40%. This was one of the most evenly matched fights we've ever covered, with both characters capable of bending dimensions and accessing god-tier powers. But Strange's mastery of magic and his ability to manipulate time give him the advantage in most scenarios. That said, Decade is no slouch, and if he manages to unleash his full power with the Neo Deca Driver and the 21 complete form, he could turn the tide. It's a battle of the ages. Thank you for tuning in to this epic episode of Power Struggles. Do you agree with our analysis? Could Decade pull off more wins, or is Doctor Strange simply too powerful? Let us know what you think on social media, and share your thoughts on who would win this incredible battle. Until next time, stay tuned for more legendary showdowns, and please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Besides that, I gotta bid you all adieu, and simply say goodbye, mwah, and good night, bang.